I think if your son or daughter is making suicidal statements, first of all, they're talking about it, a huge red flag. I mean, just number one, being preoccupied maybe with death in conversation or writing and drawing. If they're giving away their belongings, if they're withdrawing from family, that loner factor really concerns me. They're just getting lost up in their room. Maybe aggressive, hostile behavior. Maybe they're, again, neglecting their personal appearance. Bad stuff going on at school. You know, the grades aren't the way they're supposed to be. They've got some real high conflict going on. Maybe they recent breakup. Change in personality, those kind of factors, Doctor, when they start coming together, they create a horrifying, dark place for our kids.
And Tim, there's one more that people overlook. When you've had a son or a daughter who has showed those characteristics and has been depressed and all those things you just talked about, or even just a few of them, pay attention if the mood lightens. Be careful. Sometimes that child has made up his mind. He's not under pressure anymore. He's not struggling with what to do anymore. He's figured it out. He knows what to do. And he often does it, and you didn't have a clue because you weren't aware that sometimes a lightened mood is itself a danger point.
Yes. I know some are probably asking, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I'd say, first of all, connect. And don't get overwhelmed or lost in it. Be deliberate. Be intentional. Again, one of the great myths here is to think that if I talk about suicide, then I'm going to place those seeds into his or her heart.
That's really not true.
That is not true. It's the opposite. Go right into it. And if you have an indication that they are contemplating suicide, if they've come up with a plan, if there's a plan, I ask clients all the time, do you have a plan? If they have a plan, you know this is way down the road. Don't leave them alone. Continue to talk with them. And then you're right, get them help. I mean, get them to a place, because the hopelessness will take them, it'll take them out. It really will. You get them to an emergency room. You get them to a professional counselor immediately, especially if you're seeing this high risk behavior taking place, because this is real. And the good news is, if you do that, you can save a heart. You can save a life. And usually, again, it's like I said earlier, it isn't that they hate life. It's just that they hate life the way it is.
And you know, Tim, there's some people, some kids are drawn to some adults. You know, some coaches, some uncles, some neighbor, your kid just likes them. That person can have a lot of influence by saying that he loves them and talks to them and talks them through. Like my dad did for me when I was at the low point. I went on to have a great high school career. Those days passed for me because I had a
Great dad.
who believed in me and told me he did.
I love what you're saying there, because I love to hashtag this. Hashtag own your influence. I think that word goes out to every coach. It goes out to every dad, to every pastor, to everybody who has influence in the life of a teen. So we're talking about teen suicide. Own your influence in their life. Stop turning them away. Recognize that God's placed them there for a reason. And if you do, you may avert a teen suicide. It could be because you showed up and you spoke hope, truth, love.
I had a Sunday school teacher, a man that we all loved. Every student, every boy, it was a boys' class, every boy in his class, and we were probably 10, loved him, absolutely loved him. And I remember he would start talking to us and tell us stories, and we would all be crying. He had great influence in our life. Somebody like that can save a boy or a girl in trouble.
Soul care ministry. Showing up, letting God work through you to bring his comfort and hope to them.
Tim, we're going to have to do this again because we didn't cover the topic, but certainly not anywhere near where it should be. And we need to come back to this subject because there's so many parents out there that are terrified. Their kid will say, I'm thinking of killing myself. I don't know what to do. Of course they should pray about it, but they should know how to handle that moment.
Act.
Because the way
Do
you
something.
handle it depends a
Everything.
lot on what the individual goes and does.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Dr. Dobson.
Thank you for being with us, Tim. It's always good to have you here. Let's do it
Likewise.
more often.
Yes.